So guys, I finally got Hardware 3 installed on my Tesla Model 3, and while overall the experience was uneventful, there was a little weird hiccups along the way that it's just interesting to point out. Things I really haven't experienced with traditional automakers. From start to finish, it's fine. But along the way there were a few hiccups that kind of left me scratching my head. So I want to go over those with you guys. So getting Hardware 3 dates back to January of 2020 of this year. I put in a request on the app. They basically shot me down, said try again later at the end of February when Hardware 3 is probably ready for your specific VIN number. So I put in a request end of February. That time it got approved. And I also said I wanted to get my tires rotated and also have a wind noise looked at, which I believe they fixed, which is great. It's like one of those things where you don't really want to take in specifically for that because it's not that big of a deal. But I did want to throw in as many things at once as possible just because I don't want to drive to get my car serviced for minor things. So put them all together. Also importantly to note, if you do want to get your tires rotated at Tesla, it's pretty expensive. It was like 90 bucks for me, which I agree is a ripoff. But again, the convenience factor of from basically the time I got to the Tesla service center, no issues at all, worked out great. The service center itself is really new and modern looking, very nice. The employees are friendly. The guy that was working on my car, I believe, we went out for a drive to listen to the wind noise. We talked about Tesla everything from stocks to the Tesla Model 3 Performance to the Model S, everything. It was just a really great conversation. He was nice. Okay, but where it got a little weird, first of all, I know it's not promised, but I asked them if I could get a Tesla loaner when I dropped my car off because I've heard so many different stories. It seems like it's totally based upon the service center. I've heard stories where you get a Tesla loaner. I've heard stories where you get a rental car from Enterprise. I've heard stories where you get Lyft credits, which that would be the worst case scenario because I'm not about to Lyft to work and back every single day and Lyft to the grocery store, blah, blah, blah. I was so hoping to get a Tesla loaner just because I want to try out a Model S or a Model X, can you blame me? But they give me a loaner, which was a 2020 Toyota RAV4, and what they do, someone from Enterprise comes and picks you up, takes you to Enterprise, you fill out the paperwork there. You don't pay for anything except for gas, which I may add, I spent $27 worth of gas, which is probably my electricity bill for the whole month when I'm driving my Model 3. And I know it sounds very first world problem to complain about driving a 2020 RAV4, which I tried to complain to my coworkers, they didn't get it. Why are you complaining about driving a brand new vehicle? But when you're going from a Tesla to gas, especially a bigger vehicle like that, it's just the suspension sucked. Just the gas sucked, merging, blah, blah, blah. You get it. If you drive a Tesla, you know. It was a very bad experience. I'm hoping in the future they allow to provide loaners to every single person. Just because, say, for example, if you own an Audi and you take your Audi in for service, they give you an Audi loaner. That's typically better than the one you're using to try to sell you into a better vehicle in the future. I get it, Tesla doesn't have the capacity right now to do that, but in the future, that's what I look forward to. Again, I sound very stuck up, very first world problem type of thing, but me driving that Toyota RAV4 was the worst driving experience I've had in a very long time. Considering before my Tesla, I had a Chevy Volt, which was still EV, it had the instant torque, it was peppy. It was just kind of a shock for me. I was so ready to get my Tesla back. Again, not a big deal. Whatever, that's water on the bridge. So I dropped my vehicle off on Wednesday. That night they texted me and said that it was going to be overnight. I kind of thought that would be the case at that point. But then come Thursday, I didn't hear back from them at all. I even texted them and was asking for a follow-up, and I heard nothing for 24 hours. And I'm what's going on? So I tried to call the number that was texting me, and that's just an SMS only number, so it gives you an error. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. My phone, the signal in my area is kind of crappy. SMS isn't the most reliable thing anyway. Like, you can send someone a text message and it just like disappears. Like, I get it. So I looked up the number for my Tesla service center on Tesla's website, which this is another very weird occurrence. So I called it and I followed the prompts to get to the service center, and it says you've reached a non-working Tesla number. It gives you a number to call instead, which is just like a main number. And if you follow the prompts on that, it just takes you right back to the non-working number. So here it is. This is the number we're calling right here.
Thank you for calling Tesla. For emergency roadside assistance, such as flat tires, lockouts, and non-drivable vehicles. For information on your car that is in service, press 3.
And that's what I want. That makes sense, because I was looking for an update.
Please hold while I transfer your call to the service center. Please know that appointments cannot be arranged over the phone. If you are calling to schedule, modify, or cancel an appointment, please hang up now and use your Tesla mobile app. If you have other questions, please remain on the line.
You have reached a non-working number at Tesla Motors. Please hang up and dial 650-681-5000.
Okay, so yeah, that phone number that I just called is again listed on Tesla's website for the specific service center I went to and on their front door. But anyway, the number that they gave me is better because it's like a local number. The prompts you follow are literally exactly the same, but it actually gets you to a person. And also I also just did some research. Like, I looked up the Tampa Service Center. I looked up the Virginia Beach Service Center, just random service centers that I'm familiar with the area code. The area code of the service center is like a local number, whereas the Sarasota Service Center is a number that's like 877, 866, whatever. So I just don't understand that. So Tesla, if you're watching this, please fix your phone number. Like, change it on your website and change it on your door, because that's just kind of crazy. It's just like a very like simple fix, but it makes for a very bad customer experience when, for whatever reason, SMS is not working and you're trying to get in touch with a human being and you end up just going through prompts to be disconnected. Like, I had to post on Twitter to get in contact with somebody. Like, that's kind of crazy. I could also just put the blame on myself. Like, I should have asked the service center for a good phone number if I need to contact them. Like, I could have done that, but, I kind of expected the phone number on their website and their door to also work. I dropped the vehicle off Wednesday, picked it up Friday afternoon. So you would think my whole debacle with the phone issue was like a long time, but it really wasn't. It was just like, I'd say like a solid like 24 hours of unknown. Like, with the SMS issues we were having, like, I had no update. And you can't get updates through the app when it's in service because it just says service. Like, I kind of wish Tesla would just do communication through the app itself, because I feel like the app itself would have more reliable service, whereas SMS is very sketchy. Like, say, for example, you have no cell service and you have Wi-Fi only, you may not be able to get them at all. And it's just kind of odd that, like, that's their main form of communication, SMS, which is like a very old technology. If they did it directly through the Tesla app, I feel like that'd be way better. And then two, once I got to the service center, which was like right after work, very close to 6 o'clock, I made sure to get there before closing time. I got my key back and my car was put back in working order, so it worked with my phone, no problem. I gave them my rental keys. They took my vehicle. All was good to go. I had to repair my phone, but like my HomeLink worked. My lifetime miles and efficiency was still saved, so they didn't really delete much, which was great. But another thing, a very interesting thing, which is just like adding to the like total experience. Overall, like, the experience, not bad, but very strange stuff happening. So I've had my vehicle for less than 24 hours now after Hardware 3, and I do love Hardware 3 because I can now see like stop signs, stop lights, turn signal, turn lanes, all that stuff. Like, that is the full self-driving preview that people have had for months now that I'm getting to experience now, which is great. But I assume they do something behind the glove box, because now when I open my glove box, it doesn't open softly, it like slams open. So I do assume like work is done through that area. And I get that I can schedule another service appointment. They can probably even come out to my house, like the mobile service. But it's just the idea of having to do this all over again to fix something that wasn't even broken to begin with. Yeah, so if you're installing hardware 3 and you have to get in through the glove box, like I would imagine part of the checklist when you're like fixing up the customer's car is verifying the glove box works. So when you press the glove box, it shouldn't slam open. And it's like one of those things, kind of like my wind noise issue that I've had. I'm not really going to get it fixed until I have some other issue. So right now I'm just going to hold off. And it's like one of those experiences where like literally when it's over with, you're happy. It's just like at the time, having the phone number issue and driving the crappy rental car that I really wasn't happy with. And then the glove box thing was just kind of icing on the cake. But it's like I got hardware 3, full self-driving updates should be coming very soon. So I guess what this experience kind of taught me is that I'm very thankful for having a Model 3. Having that rental for a few days really just like opened up my eyes to like the types of vehicles I used to drive. You get so used to something, and then when you drive a gas vehicle, it feels like it's 20 years old. Like it's pretty crazy. If you have never driven a Tesla, you really wouldn't understand until you get into the seat of one. So while this video was a big complaining session, it's kind of important for Tesla to look at from a customer service standpoint. So the first issue that I had was the loaner. Having a gas loaner when you've had an EV for 2 years now, if you count the time I had the Chevy Volt, was a very jarring experience. It was fine, but it was not fun for me at all, like honestly. They need to work on having more Tesla loaners, push S and X's to Model 3 owners, because then they could soon one day be S and X owners. That's more money for you, Tesla. So please work on that. And I realized the phone number issue was kind of weird, but I'm just curious, how long has there been an incorrect phone number on Tesla's website and the front door? Maybe they literally just turned it off the day before I got there, but the fact that every other service center has a local phone number with a local area code, and this service center in Sarasota, where the area code should be 941, is like an 866, 877 number, very strange. So it's just like, that's just like an oversight. It's just attention to detail. Like that shouldn't have been overlooked. Like a phone number is a big thing. Simple fix. Please fix it if you are watching this. I even updated it on Google Maps, because on the Google Maps listing for the Tesla location, there was no phone number, there were no hours, nothing like that. I basically had to ask my service guy for everything, for things like that, and kind of pulls me back to their main form of communication is texting, and we all know that texting isn't the most reliable thing. Email is way more reliable. It goes through pretty much every time, whereas texting doesn't. I missed like a day's worth of conversations from them that they, at a later time, emailed to me just to prove that they were responding to me, but I wasn't getting their response. But I'm happy I have hardware 3. I'm really excited to experience some updates coming soon that are really going to improve the driving experience and more full self-driving features. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.